Yeah, simply ball dropping. What's up, family? K-Sap, we up! Ain't no stopping. I'm simply ball dropping like it's New Year's Eve, making you haters believe I'm the MVP. Ask Mr. V and R&B, they do all sports, whether it's on the field or the court, from the arena to the ring. What? You wanna swing? I rope a dope like the one on this boxing thing. That's a punchline. I'm the greatest of all times. Got something on your mind? Hit us up on the line for that round table talk. Ask B Hunt and Sheena and K-Sap too for their views on our dudes. Marriage Chronicles for you lovers. Oh, I'm married to the game. The championships, the only time I wanna ring. K-Sap, the man behind the mic. Check 1, 2. It ain't a rap until I say it's a rap. Just fall through, pull up the hottest pod smoking. Yeah, I got you open. This freestyle brought to you by James Ford. Paid promotion. Yeah, simply ball dropping. You know what time it is. Pull up, chop it up with your family, man. K-Sap, what up?
And now, your host of the Simply Ball Droppin' Podcast, the man behind the mic, K-Sap.
This episode is sponsored by True Choice Insurance. Here at True Choice, we take a different philosophy when it comes to providing you with your insurance options. We emphasize the value of the products we offer, instead of playing on the fear of you not being protected in your time of need. True Choice is affiliated with more than 60 insurance companies. This makes us one of the most independent agencies in the state of Texas. Please visit TrueChoiceInsurance.com for all your insurance needs.
Yo, welcome to another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm the host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. And like I always say, we don't just do sports. We do roundtable talk, life discussions, everything that's going on in the news, we cover it. We're not a one-trick pony. Also, we do our marriage chronicles. You know, we get on couples that been married 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. We cover it all. We talk about relationships. The end all be all is marriage. So guys, please subscribe to the channel. Once you see the video, give it a thumbs up. Turn on your post notifications so you can get an instant alert every time Simply Ball drops a hot banger. Hope everybody's having a good day today. And today we're going to talk about the Shannon Sharpe apology for the incident that happened on Friday night at Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles, California, when the Memphis Grizzlies took on the Los Angeles Lakers. But before we get off into that, there was a lot of guys that had a lot of things to say about the situation. And the Up On Game podcast that's featuring LeVar Arrington, TJ Houshmandzadeh, and Plexico Barris, they was on their podcast saying that Shannon was in the wrong. They said Shannon Sharpe was in the wrong. But let's take it back to Friday night for people that don't know the incident that occurred at halftime of the game. Shannon Sharpe sitting courtside. Like I said, he's a big LeBron James supporter. He was sitting courtside. He got into it with Dillon Brooks. He told Dillon Brooks that basically he was too small to guard LeBron James. Dillon Brooks took offense to it. He started shouting back the F-bombs. Shannon uttered the same word back to him. And then things happened. Shannon Sharpe stood up. He stayed on the baseline. He never ran on the court. He never charged the court or anything like that. He stayed behind the line. He never stepped foot on the court. And what he did was told Dillon Brooks, come here and say it right here. Dillon Brooks didn't. That's when Steve Adams walked over. And John Morant had his say, was telling Shannon, to set his ass down. And then Ja Morant's dad got into it. So things escalated. Shannon Sharpe and T. Morant got into some verbal words. And you could hear Shannon Sharpe basically saying, I bet you won't. But the whole commotion started where security got involved. It was a crowd, and they had to restrain Shannon Sharpe. They had to remove him from the court, take him into the tunnel. And Dave McMenamin caught up with him and was basically asking Shannon Sharpe what transpired. Shannon Sharpe told him that he said some words to Dylan Brooks, just like a normal fan, trash talking. There's fans that say things to players like, oh, you can't guard so-and-so, you're too small for so-and-so, he's dogging you out. But for the Memphis Grizzlies to react the way they react to one person, Shannon Sharpe, saying, you can't guard LeBron, you're too small. And for Dylan Brooks to respond the way he responded, sent the whole Memphis Grizzlies team in an uproar. That's a team that has each other's back, and they wasn't going for it. So they all walked over to Shannon Sharpe. But when Dave McMenamin called up to Shannon Sharpe in the hallway and asked him what it was all about, Shannon said he told Dylan Brooks he was too small to guard LeBron James. Dylan Brooks shouted back the F-bomb. Shannon Sharpe shouted back. Shannon Sharpe said Dylan Brooks did not want to smoke. Then he said Steven Adams walked over. He didn't want to smoke either. Then he said Ja Morant said his words, but he definitely didn't want to smoke. And then T. Morant, Ja Morant's dad, said some things, and Shannon Sharpe told Dave McMenamin that T. Morant obviously didn't want to smoke either. So that's how it all played out. And Shannon has now came out and issued an apology. But before we get off into the apology, this is what Plexico Burress, LeVar Arrington, and TJ Usman-Sada said on their podcast. Take a close listen.
From what I understand, Shannon instigated the whole thing and told Dylan Brooks that he was too small.
He was too small
to guard
right.
LeBron James.
But that's just trash talk. That's just trash talk. I mean, that's just. But Dylan, everybody watches the show. They know Shannon loves LeBron James, and so they're going to respond accordingly to anything that Shannon may say when it pertains to LeBron. That's how I saw it. I didn't. What I didn't understand was Ja Morant wasn't involved, and then his pops
over.
And then his pops got involved.
He walked over.
And so if I'm Shannon, I'm like, bruh, me and you can just sneak on off and handle this if it's what you want to do. Like,
no doubt.
You ain't a player. So me and you can handle this. Like all this, making up and shaking hands after. Nah, bro, we not doing that.
Oh, they made up and shook hands after that?
Yeah, exactly. It was all for show. Yes, they did.
That.
Yes, they did. I stayed up, watched it, seen it, and read it. Yes.
Who dapped up?
But I just don't understand why.
Shannon Sharpe and Ja Morant's pops.
If anybody knows Shannon, I know Shannon very well, man. And they call him the mouth of the South for a reason. Hey, the guy loves to talk. He's very confrontational, and he speaks very sternly. But I just don't understand why he would make the gestures towards Ja's father, during the game about what was going on, stepping out of bounds. He was being real extra. And listen, Ja's dad basically attends every game, and he goes there. He just loves to watch his son do his thing. And he gets up and he celebrates, he claps and all those things. But I've yet to see him get into any confrontation with anybody over the past 4 years that Ja's been in this league, and he's one of the premier players in this game. But Shannon was kind of instigating towards him getting up, pointing at Ja's dad, and just really kind of just got under the skin. Like, man, hold on, man. The players out there playing. Like, why are you bothering me? That's what I didn't understand about it.
Shannon's wrong.
They're wrong.
Like, he's wrong. Like, I get like, and TJ, I know you real well at this point. I get it. I know both of y'all real well. Ain't none of us going for somebody disrespecting us. Like, you ain't going to say F me. But at the same time,
he bought it on himself.
Depending on the setting that you're in, and you're instigating the way that you're instigating.
Yeah, you can't antagonize somebody and then be surprised when they respond.
That's my point. You can't sit there and be talking bad to the dude, and he's supposed to be like, oh yeah, you're right, Shannon. You're right. I'm too small to guard LeBron.
So basically, my take on that is they didn't have the whole particulars on what transpired before they did their podcast, before they started talking about it. Because if they did, they would have known everything that transpired. At one segment, Plexico Burress said that he didn't know that T. Morant and Shannon Sharpe dapped up. Either did LeVar Arrington. He said he didn't see that. And then LeVar Arrington goes on to say that Shannon was dead wrong. Well, if you don't know the full particulars, how can Shannon be dead wrong? Shannon did no harm. All Shannon did was stand up and protect himself because they started coming towards him. He never stormed the court. He never got, put his hands on none of the players. If you look at it, the security and things was holding Shannon back just to diffuse the problem. So Shannon didn't storm on the court like he wanted to fight anybody. He was basically telling Dillon Brooks, if you're man enough to say the F-bomb to me that far away, come over here and say it in my face. But for the notion of Dillon Brooks to say that Shannon Sharpe is a pedestrian and guys like that, they're bloggers. But for him to say he should have been escorted and thrown out the game, I don't think that was warranted because cooler heads prevailed. Yes, T. Morant and Shannon Sharpe dapped it up and diffused the problem, caught on camera talking a lot of things. Even after the game, a lot of people didn't see. Anthony Davis went over there and was talking to T. Morant, and T. Morant and Ja Morant was still saying that, LA don't want the smoke. So Memphis continues to chatter, and it's always Ja Morant caught up in the middle of things because that's the persona that Ja Morant has now. But for LeVar Arrington, Plexico Burress, and TJ Usmanzada, I'm not going to say Plexico and TJ Usmanzada, but I'm going to say LeVar Arrington. LeVar Arrington said that Shannon Sharpe was dead wrong. So guys, y'all tell me what y'all think. Was Shannon Sharpe dead wrong? I don't think that Shannon Sharpe was dead wrong. And the reason why I say that is because Shannon Sharpe, he's a LeBron supporter, right? But at the same time, Shannon Sharpe thought about, the consequences, the repercussions that might come about. So he issued an apology. So with his apology, he addressed, the situation.
There was some.
So the thing about it is, I respect Shannon Sharpe for coming out issuing that apology because he took the higher road in the bigger route. Because working for, Undisputed and Fox Sports is some repercussions that come with that. You know what I'm saying? I fumbled over the words a little bit, but y'all guys understand what I'm saying. But he probably been reprimanded. So he issued an apology. And if we go back to the situation with Skip Bayless, when he said the insensitive things on the Hamlin situation, the DeMar Hamlin situation, he never came out and issued an apology. But Shannon took the bigger route. And let's listen to what Shannon Sharpe had to say when he issued his apology.
Interesting events unfolding at the Lakers game Friday. Shannon, I want to turn the floor over to you. I know there's something you want to say.
Yes, thanks, Jen. As you probably have heard or have seen Friday night at the Lakers game, I want to apologize for my behavior. Guys, I've preached for the last 6.5 years, responsibility and accountability. And I take full responsibility for what transpired. It does not matter what Dylan Brooks said or how many times he said it. Me being the responsible person, me having the platform that I have and having so many people look up to me, I was wrong. I should have lowered the temperature in the arena. Instead, I turned the temperature up and I let it get out of hand. And I want to apologize to a few people. First of all, I want to apologize to the Lakers organization, Jeannie Buss, the Buss family. I apologize for any harm or unwanted attention that I brought to your organization. I want to apologize to the fans that were in attendance and the fans that watched on television, because that's not what you paid for and that's not what you tuned in to watch. Shannon Sharpe should have been mentioned as someone that was at the game, not someone that let his emotions run high and get out of hand during the game. I want to apologize to the Memphis Grizzlies. Organization and fans, I am sorry. More specifically, I want to apologize to Dylan Brooks. He is a fierce competitor, and seeing him up close, I get a sense of why he is what he is and how he's wired the way he's wired. Bruh, I apologize. I wish you the best of luck the rest of the season and continued success. Ja, it was a privilege and an honor to watch you up close and personal. Skip and I talk about you a lot of times, but to see what you do, you're able to elevate, lead the floor, contort your body, and finish at the rim, is unbelievable and extremely impressive. And I want to apologize to you. I also want to apologize to my stylist, Hollywood. Before you took me on as a client. And I want to apologize for my behavior because you were in attendance. And if I caused any smudge on your resume, I'm deeply sorry for that. I also want to apologize to LeBron James because y'all know how I feel about him. And he supported me through thick and thin. And bro, I'm sorry that I put you in this situation, that you had to support me in something like this. So I want to apologize to you. I want to apologize to my family. I want to apologize to my brother, my sister, my mom, my kids, and my grandson. Because one day you're going to be old enough and you're going to see what transpired in that arena. But I also hope you get an opportunity to see this apology that I'm giving, because I was wrong. And I'm never going to be too big to say I'm sorry. I'm never going to be too big to say that I was wrong. And in that situation, I was absolutely wrong. And last but not least, I want to apologize to you, Turbo. You've been great to me. I appreciate everything that you've done over the last 8-9 months. I want to say I'm sorry. Again, to my Fox family, FS1, guys, I'm sorry for any unwanted attention that I brought your way. And I hate that you have to answer. No one should have to trend because of something that I did. So I want to apologize to anybody at Fox or FS1 that's had to answer questions on my behalf. What happened to Shannon? Why was Shannon doing this? I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm not perfect. I am not. And I'm never going to say that wasn't Shannon Sharpe, because that was me. That was just me getting out of character. And I'm sorry for all those that saw my actions and took offense to my actions. I am sorry.
And that was perfectly said, Shannon. That was perfectly said. And, you know, when apologies come across like that, it took some time and thought for him to think about the words and what he chose to say. So deep down, that was a sincere, apology. He had the whole weekend to think about it. You know, as an analyst on Fox Sports Network, that's one of the things you shouldn't have to focus on as writing up an apology, because there's other things that you guys cover. Your focus is on, getting the latest news on the sports, something that you can talk about on your show. But everything that went on this weekend, you had the NFL playing, you had the NBA playing, and for him to turn his attention to issue an apology, that shows a lot of growth. And that shows that he is responsible and he's accounted for all his actions. And that's the way it's supposed to be, man. I mean, when you do something that you felt was wrong, which a lot of people never had a problem with it. It's just certain people started talking about it that didn't know the particulars on it. And they judged him for something that, wasn't seen live on television. It was seen after halftime when they re-showed the incidents that happened. So we don't, cameras are all through the arena, so we don't know. It's some more stuff to it, because Memphis, they talk a lot. And like I said, Ja was caught on camera telling Shannon, sit your ass down. And like I said, the Memphis Grizzlies, they do a lot of chirping. But as soon as words was uttered, you're too small to guard LeBron James, they went up red flags was raised. They got disturbed and they started walking toward Shannon Sharpe. Now, let's put this on the flip side. A fan stands up, a regular fan, not big in stature. He stands up and says, hey, you can't guard LeBron James. Does Dylan Brooks have that same reaction to that fan? Does he have that same reaction? I don't think he has that same reaction, because the reason why he reacted the way he reacted is because it was Shannon Sharpe. And for Dylan Brooks to have this notion of saying that he don't know who Shannon Sharpe is, I find that far-fetched. Now, back to what Plexico said about Shannon taunting T. Morant, pointing to the baseline and things like that. Plexico, if you watched the game and you did your homework before you spoke on this matter, you would have noticed that was the last play of the game when Desmond Bane shot that three-pointer at the end of the game. Shannon Sharpe was letting people know that Desmond Bane stepped out of bounds. He was not taunting T. Morant the whole game. He wasn't even taunting T. Morant. He was sitting there watching one of his favorite players play the game of basketball, and things got escalated because some words was uttered to the Memphis Grizzlies, Dylan Brooks, and things transpired. But this notion to go and say that Shannon was dead wrong, I don't think he was dead wrong. Because like I said, if this was a regular fan and he stood up and told Dylan Brooks that he was too small, he can't guard LeBron James, Dylan Brooks does not respond the same way. And you've seen in instances where the star players, you got the fans saying stuff because they capture it on their TikToks, their Reels, their YouTube channels, saying things to these athletes, the likes of Kyrie Irving, the likes of Kevin Durant, so on and so on. But the team doesn't go up in arms where they got to make a big scene about it. And that's the Memphis Grizzlies. They're going to make a big scene about anything because they yapping, they trapping, they got each other's backs. And like Kendrick Perkins said, it's a bunch of goons over there. It's a bunch of young goons over there. So like John Morant made it abundantly clear that he wants all the smoke. So if something goes down like that, that team is going to respond that way. And we saw that on Friday night. That team responded the way that they did, that caused a disturbance in that basketball game that had everybody's attention on it. And then the focus became Shannon Sharpe because of his magnitude and his persona and what he represents and the job that he holds down. A lot of people took wind of it. They started talking about it. Me, myself included. That was headlines. And if you realize in the headlines, people are going to talk about it. But I don't think Shannon Sharpe was in the wrong. That's just me personally, how I feel about it. Because Shannon never stormed the court, like I said. He never once crossed the line. All he did was stood his ground, said one thing to Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks got his panties in a bunch. He uttered words back. Shannon uttered the words back. And then Big Steve Adams comes charging over there. Then they all started walking over there. John started walking over there. So now it's a big commotion and things escalated. And it went somewhere it shouldn't have went. But you guys let me know, was Shannon Sharpe in the wrong? But he did issue an apology, and that's the best way to go. He's protecting his name. He's protecting his brand. He apologized to a lot of people. It just wasn't the fact that he apologized to the Memphis Grizzlies. He apologized to the Los Angeles Lakers organization. He apologized to his wardrobe people. He apologized to his family. He apologized to LeBron James. And He also apologized to the network that he represents, Fox Sports 1. And that is the way to go. So kudos to Shannon for issuing that apology. I think it was a sincere apology. But for him to sit there and say that he was out of character, I don't consider that really being out of character. You know, things happen. You know, it just went somewhere it shouldn't have went. The words should have been exchanged, and Dylan Brooks should have kept on moving. But I think when Steve Adams and Ja Morant started walking over there, and then T. Morant comes out of nowhere, things just got ugly. Things just escalated. So guys, y'all let me know in the comments, ladies too, do y'all think that Shannon Sharpe was in the wrong? But I'm glad that he issued an apology so we can move forward from this. But for LeVar Arrington, TJ Usmanzada, and Plexico Barris, especially LeVar Arrington, say Shannon was dead wrong. I don't think Shannon was dead wrong. I think Shannon, you know, just let his emotions get the best of him, but he never once crossed the line. So, you guys, let me know what you think. Like I said, please like, comment, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend. Let's get this video popping. It only helps the channel grow when you like it, you comment, you subscribe, turn on your post notifications so you'll know every time that Simply Ball Dropping drops a hit banger. Like I said, I appreciate everybody that's rocking. We appreciate everybody that's tuning in. And like I always say, man, I appreciate your time. And once again, that's going to wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping podcast. I'm the host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap, and we'll catch you on the next one. Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.